Very informative, and here we are another weekend, and I'm here with Charles Scott Jr.
How you guys doing today? Like I say every episode, just want to make sure you're listening. Remember, if you miss an episode, go back. Go on TikTok, go on Facebook, go on YouTube, type in Can We Talk Tri-State Realty. We're approaching 80 episodes. We have a lot of back catalog, good information for you to learn, not just about real estate, but business practices.
Well, the information that we give out to everybody is not just pertaining to this specific area, but we try to give you information that can be used in just about all 50 states, no matter where you are in the country. So today, we want to talk a little bit about what's happening as far as new developments in this area, though.
Yes.
Some of the things that, are happening with the movers and the shakers, the developers, the rentals. There's right now, real estate is going through a whole lot of changes.
I will say this is a very exciting area, Fairfield County, not let alone Bridgeport, Stratford. But a lot of things going on in the city, a lot of new developments, a lot of new places opening to attract a lot of outside people to visit the city.
Well, one of the things that this program, it has reaches all the way into New York City, and when you hit the internet, anybody throughout the entire United States can actually look at some of the things that are happening. One of the newspaper articles that I saw recently in the, I think it was the Connecticut Post, where it stated, and this is a national article, it said
they were sourcing a national article talking about what? Certain areas.
Certain zip codes.
It
said that the Fairfield County zip codes were one of the top hottest, it said, what did it say? The hottest
the most searched zip codes on these apps, like people have on their phones.
And that's the whole United States.
Whole United States. That's out of the entire country. Forget Los Angeles, forget Miami. We're talking about Fairfield County. Trumbull, I believe it was.
Trumbull was number one.
Trumbull was number one. One of the most desired places to live in the entire country. And my clients that want to live in Trumbull, they wonder why there's so many people at this open house. That's one of the reasons.
We just took an offer.
In that area.
Our buyers just put an offer and got an offer accepted in the Trumbull area. Matter of fact, we had the inspection, when was it, Saturday?
Yep, Saturday.
Of that particular property. And I brought the newspaper article and I showed it to them and I said, look at this. I said, you're buying in one of the top areas of it said United States. It said U.S.
United States.
Not East Coast.
Usually hear, top place to live in the tri-state area, best place to live in Connecticut. Those the entire country. Trumbull made that list. And a couple other counties here in Fairfield. And
I explained to them, some of the reasoning why. What happens too is that, if you look at it this way, for example, if you've got, let's say, 2 or 3 children, and you live within the inner city, and let's say the children are going to a private school or to school, and you move into a place like Trumbull or either the other Woodbridge areas like that, their school systems are rated at the top of the list.
Yes.
So a lot of times what people will do is if they have a child that's in a private school, and they move to an area like that, they just take the child and send them to a regular parochial school because the parochial school has got, all state-of-the-art everything. So they're saving, quite a bit of money. And from what I understand, to send a kid to grammar school or high school and the private school, you can spend up to,
it's like college prices.
$1,000, $1,500 a month for each individual child. So you're saving money by not doing that, and you add that towards your mortgage.
Also, when I talk to my customers that like Trumbull, or any area around here as far as the police force, the school system, the shopping, you get the Trumbull Mall right there. So I can see why that one made like the top search area, which is pretty impressive,
Very impressive. But each city has different types of amenities and different types of services. For example, people say, oh, how come the taxes in this city are a lot less than the taxes in that city? Yes. And I have to explain to them, if you're living in a city where there's really mostly single-family houses, for example, not a lot of businesses, not a lot of nonprofits, churches, schools, hospitals, their taxes are lower because they don't have really services that are not paying taxes. In other words, if you live in a city where there's a lot of colleges and there's a lot of schools, well, they don't pay taxes like the normal person would pay taxes.
Exactly.
And the city still has to have a fire department, police department. So they got to get the money from somewhere to pay these people. So they take that bill and they share it amongst the homeowners. So the homeowners actually pay higher taxes. Now next door, you may have a city where their taxes are low. Why? Because they don't have a police force of 3,000 people. They don't have a fire department of 2,000 people. They don't have 3,000 school teachers.
They may not even have a courthouse. When you go to court, you go to the city next door.
Right.
You call big fire. They're gonna call firefighters from the city next door to come help.
They have volunteer fire
Volunteer
department.
firefighters.
They don't have to pay the fire department.
So you see those areas will be highly desired. You'll see the house prices be elevated, but the taxes be very affordable. That's one of the reasons why we get that question a lot.
Yeah, because the taxes are lower, and because they actually use the services of the city next door.
Yep.
If you ever go to the hospital, well, a city like Trumbull, Easton, Reading, all those cities, they don't have hospitals. They might have a walk-in medical center, but they don't have a great big hospital.
Oh, yeah, they're going to send you to the major, say to Bridgeport.
Yeah, ambulance picks you up and takes you to maybe St. Vincent's or what is it, Hartford Healthcare or Bridgeport Hospital.
Right, Bridgeport, yeah.
So they're using the services of the big city, and they can keep their taxes, much lower. Like I said, if a fire department, they got a volunteer fire department, so they don't have to pay
exactly
to have 10 fire stations and 500 firemen. So their taxes can naturally be lower. They don't have 15 schools or 20 schools. They might have a middle school, and two other high schools. So therefore, they can keep their taxes much lower. They don't have a lot of roads to pave.
Exactly.
They have a lot of back roads. They don't have major roads where what is it? Tractor trailers are going up and down the road, tearing that road up. They stay away from the back roads.
Well, I tell my customers, even though those places are highly desired, they have small infrastructure and everything. Each city has its I'll say gem of reasons to move there. Different attractions, different things. Where did you see this weekend as far as with Bridgeport, some of the new things that have been opened up around the area?
Yeah, so what happens is every city has its niche. Every city has a reason why people want to live there. So if you're dealing with a lot of people coming in from New York City, they're used to the nightlife. They don't want to live out in Trumbull. They don't want to live out in the woods. They want to live where there's plenty of excitement, downtown restaurants. In Bridgeport, you have another draw. You have the downtown theater. You've got the amphitheater.
The Total Mortgage Arena.
Total Mortgage Arena. You got events going on. During the summer, Bridgeport had a jazz festival.
Yep.
You had the Thursday nights on the green, free concerts on Thursday nights. You have the roller skating downtown Bridgeport.
Oh, I forgot about that. Roller skating.
You got roller skating down there. That's they close off the streets and they rent out the roller skates. And they got the artscape for the artists, where the artists live, and you have a lot of restaurants.
Plenty of restaurants.
Plenty of restaurants. You got nightclubs that are open. You have what is the one there? The guy from New York opened up on. Can't even think of the name of it
Which
now.
one? The one that's breakfast, the brunch?
Yeah, you got breakfast and the brunch one, but you got the other restaurant.
Oh, you're talking about Grill 2
Grill
in the
2,
city.
you got in the right.
Yeah, that guy from New York.
Gentleman from New York opened up 2 restaurants downtown in the city and Grill 2, so you got the nightlife there. Recently I was in over the weekend. What is it? The
Foolproof.
The Foolproof, which is a new brewery. And inside is really, really nice. They've got they had like what kind of car was that? A Lamborghini.
Yeah, the Lamborghini, a classic '88 Lamborghini too.
Got a Lamborghini.
I'll say I went there also this past weekend. It was a very nice atmosphere. I would say is not your standard brewery where you're watching beer being made. It's more of like a sit down restaurant / family atmosphere type of thing.
Right. They got a family atmosphere there. They got a game room. They've got a room that you can rent out for different events. They've got it's more like it's a combination of some of everything. It's a sports bar in a way, and it's pretty spacious and everything. So you got a lot of things that's just recently opened up. Now there's also talk of a soccer field.
A soccer stadium should be coming to Bridgeport for the next couple of years. That'll be great. That'll be a big leap forward in the sports. arrangements out here. Definitely.
Right. You have the soccer event that's coming in. We also this summer we had what was it, the West Indies or Jamaican festival.
Oh, Jerk Fest.
Jerk Fest. We had the Jerk Fest that was and that was over at Seaside Park, and we had the Jazz Festival which was downtown Bridgeport on the Green. So you have a lot of different events that are happening throughout the entire city. We've also got like I said, different artists that are coming in.
A lot of big artists have noticed Bridgeport is the place to be as far as the amphitheater. I mean, they got that big Bob Marley concert in 2 weeks. I mean, they're coming here. Bigger names each year, especially with sound. I guess used to call what Sound on the Sound. Now it's called Sound Side Festival.
I forgot about that one.
Remember, that's the end of the month.
Yeah.
And that's advertising for tickets every day. And that brings in people. I remember 2 years ago when it first started, people from Colorado came. I can only imagine now, people from all over the United States come.
What's that? Sound on Sound, right?
It's called Soundside Festival now.
Soundside Festival.
Instead of Sound on Sound.
That's one of the biggest festivals on the East Coast.
Yeah, it's kind of replaced what the old vibes used to be. A lot of people gathering, and Bridgeport benefits, People get to say, hey, I like this place. Maybe I'll move here. Maybe I'll get a vacation home here or timeshare or something like that. Very nice.
Reminds me of, I'll date myself and all the people out there, the Woodstock Festival.
Oh, yeah, well, that was a one and done.
But this
we have this yearly.
They've sort of been making this a yearly event.
It's the third one.
And I went last year, and it was like, hundreds of thousands of people. It ran for 3 or 4 nights?
Well, it was 2 nights. It was Saturday and Sunday.
And, this year I hope the weather's even better. And even with the rain last year, everybody still showed up.
People still showed up. And this shows people their dedication to it. And the fact that, I drove by and I said, wow, if you told me I was in Bridgeport now, I'd be thinking, well, I must be in Los Angeles near the beach or something. Because they turned that beach into a stage. It just looks very amazing. And then people who come down here, they get impressed. Say, hey, Bridgeport, never heard of this place, but it's close to New York. Maybe I'll keep my job in New York. Get rid of my apartment in New York, which costing me $3,000 a month, and come to Bridgeport.
$3,000 a month, a lot more than that.
Yeah, $5,000 a month for a 2-bedroom out there.
$10,000 a month.
But it's bringing more people into the city, which is great for the city because it allows us to expand as far as not just be overlooked.
All right. So if you're listening to us in New York City, or New Jersey, come on down. In other words, there's a lot of things that are happening in Fairfield County, a lot of things happening in the Bridgeport area. Like I said, each town has its own little niche, its own little thing that can draw people down. You just mentioned there that a lot of people that are paying exorbitant rents, maybe even in the Norwalk and the what do you call it? Speaking of Norwalk, the Oyster Fest, that's another thing.
Oh, that was another event.
That's another event that they have annually, and that's a huge event. They have rides, they have entertainment. I don't know who the headliner is this year, but they have rides, entertainment, they have crafts, and food galore, oysters.
Oyster Fest, yeah, I remember. I've been to a couple of those. Very big event, Norwalk's tradition, because near the beach and everything, and the oysters has a history with that city. But a lot of things that bring people towards the Fairfield County area. A lot of attractions out here.
Yeah, even in Milford, they have the Milford downtown event where they have all the business people and the food and the crafts. Every little city, Connecticut is like a destination point for, all over the state. You've got, New London, the naval, the submarine base. We got Foxwoods. We've got Foxwoods, and what's the other casino there? Mohegan Sun. Going up there towards Massachusetts. We've got Litchfield County, where a lot of the movie stars live. A lot of famous people come out of Litchfield County.
People don't realize how many people live right underneath their noses. You look on, I recommend, go to one of these counties like Litchfield on Wikipedia and click on notable people.
That's right.
And you'll say, oh, wow, the guy from Law & Order lives here and all this other stuff. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, all of the movie stars that came out of Litchfield. Even locally, right close by Bridgeport here, we've got many of the hedge fund managers right up in Norwalk and Stamford. You realize how many hedge fund people work out of all the, what, that was like the hedge fund capital.
Yeah, Stanford, Greenwich allows people
Greenwich,
live
Stanford.
or have houses. I'll say because when you're that wealthy, that's a house that live around
That's a
Greenwich.
mansion.
That's a mansion.
I mean, house.
Yeah,
You insult
definitely.
them. You say, "Where's your house?" House. I don't have a house. I got a
Exactly.
mansion.
But what we're trying to say is, we talk to a lot of people from New York that come here and they say, "Where do I go? Where do I go?" Give us a call. Let's evaluate what you're trying to find in this state, and we can help you. We don't just also do Fairfield. We can get you as far as up as New Haven, Waterbury, Torrington. I have customers that go all the way up there too.
And like we're talking about a lot of the wealth, a lot of the money within the area, but if you are, a single nester, maybe you're just out of college and whatnot, Bridgeport is in the process and has affordable housing. There's a lot of new apartments that are coming online. The Holiday Inn downtown was converted into apartments. We've got also the apartments on Main Street.
Those will be opening soon.
The VIP apartments are being built right now as we speak. There's some new apartment buildings that are out there. The Cherry Street Lofts.
Yes.
If you're coming in from Norwalk, Stanford, and New York, right
Very
on
tall
95
ceilings, I like
to
those.
the right-hand side, you've got all of the factories that have been repositioned into apartment buildings. Bridgeport doesn't have a tremendous amount of land, so one of the things that they've done is they've taken a lot of the older factories and converted them into, like lofts, like the New York lofts.
I was going to say that because we talked about an episode a couple months ago how people are realizing in your city, you've probably seen it, those old abandoned buildings, whether it be an old button factory or old brass factory, they're being repurposed. People are buying these buildings and turning them into condos, turning them into apartments, or sometimes workforce housing, which more people would like to see more of. But 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a luxury condo. How many people have seen luxury condos on their way to work? We're seeing what? We drive from Waterbury. We see at least 3 to 4 being built throughout Seymour and the Valley.
Yeah, what's that down in Shelton? I think right next to the highway. It's huge.
That one's been
huge
looking
apartment
great.
building
Big.
that's going up. And even in Norwalk, Stanford area, they're doing a lot of apartments right next to the train station.
Yep, repurposing them.
You don't need a car. Like a lot of these people coming in, they say, well, where's the parking? Well, they don't need parking because in New York, a lot of them don't have cars anyway. You got Uber, you got Lyft, you got downtown restaurants. You just move into your apartment building, you catch the train into New York City, and then boom.
And then with a city like Stanford, they have a lot of parking garages already set up, especially near the train center. I mean, I read in the news the other day, people, the big WWE black building you see, they're selling that.
It's on the market.
It's on the market. So I can see someone buying that, turning it into luxury condos or apartments.
Because WWE, they moved into downtown Stanford.
Downtown Stanford. And that building you see on the way on the train, that's a perfect building to repurpose. People can catch the train and go back to work in New York and then live right there.
Yeah, they're right in the center of the city. Yeah, we have a lot of new sidewalk cafes that are opening up within the Bridgeport area.
Yep.
And over in Fairfield. On Fairfield Avenue, within the Black Rock section of Bridgeport.
And that is actually, last month I helped someone relocate from Long Island to Black Rock. She specifically said she wanted Black Rock, which is, if you don't know, it's a nice, I'll say it's an area of Bridgeport where the cafes are just right outside your apartment. You go there, you can have a drink, it's like kind of like where the college kids go, I'll say. But she specifically wanted that area, and we found an area, and she found an apartment. I mean, give me a call. I specialize in relocating people from New York quite frequently.
So you can see we deal with all of these different things that are happening around the state of Connecticut, coming in from New York City. We didn't even get into they're going to be building, the Christophs are going to be building a new hotel in the Boca area there, the Steel Point area.
Yes.
That's a new hotel.
I thought you meant the pickleball condos. You mean like that whole other? That's coming too.
That's another little city.
Yeah.
Pickleball courts and
doggy
daycares and apartment buildings.
I mean, if you see Bass Pro Shop, you see all that dirt across the street. That's gonna be sky-rise luxury condos.
That's going to be luxury condos.
And they're starting to build them.
Apartments, apartments actually.
Apartments, that's right.
That's going to be apartment rentals. It's going to be tennis courts, pickleball courts, restaurants. It's going to be a whole a development coming up out of the ashes right next to the in the Steel Point development. This is the next phase
Yes.
right across from Bass Pro.
Right across the street.
Bass Pro.
And you said that's right. They're building a hotel also.
At a hotel right there
And we know Bridgeport is in need of a hotel since the Holiday Inn was converted.
to apartments. And the attraction of that is that they want to take the Steel Point development, build it up, and then they want to add some more ferries to the Port Jefferson
yes.
ferry. So the Port Jefferson ferry, when it leaves Bridgeport, is usually taking people over to Port Jefferson to sightsee and shop and mingle around and, you know, make a day out of it. So what they're saying is that the people over in Port Jefferson on the return trip can get on and come back here
Exactly.
and do the same thing. They can go to Bass Pro, they can go to Steel Point, they can hang around, they can eat at the Boca, so that the ferry will not only benefit by taking people to Port Jefferson, but bringing Port Jefferson people back here and just go back and forth, and both cities can be like sister cities and complement each other.
With that area, when they build this stuff, it's going to increase the traffic a lot. And what I tell people that are buying houses in Bridgeport, I say the equity in their house, I mean, you pay attention to the economy, yes, whether the election, who wins, who doesn't. Remember, over time, real estate has a trend of going up. In the next 10 years, even 15 years, this area is going to be, I would say, like little New York, like Stanford. We're going to be a metropolitan city here in Bridgeport with all the new developments, the music, the entertainment. That's why I enjoy moving people here, because they know what they're in for.
Yeah,
A great place to live.
You don't wait until it all happens.
Then it costs too much. That's like someone saying, I want to move to Manhattan. I heard that place, Times Square, is great. You got to have like the imagination to see what's this place going to look like in the next 10 years.
Imagine if you had opened up a store in Manhattan, let's say 20 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
And locked in, or bought the building.
Yeah, bought the building.
And put the business there. And now look at, it'd be worth probably 500 times what you paid for it.
Exactly.
And you'd have a business there with millions of people walking by every day, the foot traffic.
And that's what I have my customers doing now. They're buying houses. Like, think about houses near the university. Let's say you move in there with your family. Let's say 10 years from now, you say, I want to move into another house. Keep that old house. Rent it out. That becomes a dorm room for the kids out here. They'll pay good money to rent the rooms. And my clients see that. They're foreseeing the future. What can I do with this house after I move out? Like I say in previous episodes, the average person spends 7 years in the house. They don't spend the 30 years of the mortgage paying the whole thing off. There's a lot of different tools you get with home ownership.
And what you can expect also is a lot of creative building which will take place.
Yes.
You can't go down the street, and even the investors and developers that are out there that are listening to this, they are becoming more creative. One of the things that you and I watched was an individual who was repositioning buildings and putting building on top of those buildings,
the air rights.
using the air rights.
Yes.
So in other words, you see a building, it might be, let's say, 3 stories tall or 2 stories tall, but it's secure enough that you can build another 10 stories on top of that building. So now, because a lot of in Connecticut, and especially in the cities, you don't have a lot of land to expand out, you expand up.
Yes.
So if you look in the back of us, look at all of these buildings in the back of us. They're all going up. They can't go sideways. So if you take a building in Connecticut and you fortify the bottom area of it, and then you build another 15 stories going up on top of that building, now you've created maybe another 100 units of housing and luxury housing or market rate housing, workforce housing. You can go straight up, and now you have created, and then you get they get investors, and the investors will put together shares or trade on Wall Street or whatever it may be, and then they build and they develop, and now they got a high-rise apartment building.
And I was going to say also, people always ask me, well, they're building this stuff in Bridgeport. Besides Stanford, which has a parking garage, where are they going to park in Bridgeport? I see some people digging as far as they'll dig down and make a parking garage underneath the structure for maybe about 30 cars and have the units above. And we're starting to see that a lot often also.
Yeah, we have that going on right now. What's that? the VIP apartments. I see they got a big hole in the ground.
Yep.
So I'm sure that's going to be underground parking.
They're going down.
And the city of Bridgeport, recently, they did away with a lot of their parking restrictions.
Yes.
They did away with a lot of parking because before, if you wanted to open up even a church or a business,
certain rules
or whatever it may be, there was a lot of hindrances because you had to have so many parking spaces for this business, so many parking spaces for that business. Now, if you don't have the parking spaces, then you can't open up the business. A lot of the businesses were takeout.
Yes.
You couldn't sit down. They would not allow the restaurants to have any indoor or outdoor seating. You had to come pick it up like Subway and then take off. Now they've changed a lot of those rules where you don't need the parking. So now you could have a sit-down restaurant. You could have a sidewalk cafe because the parking requirements are not there. So there's all of these changes conform to the new way of looking at building.
And I was going to say, if someone has an idea for a business or looking for a commercial space, give us a call. Because those rules, I mean, I'm kind of glad they got rid of these parking restrictions. It was really strict. Like when we were looking for the church for that one client.
Oh, churches.
They had it down to the exact amount of spaces that had to be in each row.
What is it? Every 3 people that sit in the pew of the church, you had to have 1 parking space.
Exactly.
And cities have different requirements. So
imagine if you have a congregation of 30 people, you're going to need a pretty big parking. That's a small congregation. Some of these churches have 50, 60.
And you got to be able to turn around in the parking space. And in case of a fire, you got to have it open so that the fire truck can get in there. So right away, you're limited as to what you can do.
Exactly.
So if you're looking for a space, if you're looking for an apartment or looking to buy a house, or if you're out there trying to sell a house, give us a call. You see our contact information
right there.
And we also do a lot of probate. So if someone has passed away,
yes,
and there's a property that you have to find out and get an evaluation of how much it's going to cost. If you have a situation where you're in a foreclosure, give us a call. We can do an evaluation, give you an idea what the property is worth.
Yeah, we'll do a free CMA.
It's free.
How much is that?
Free. Zero cost.
And people, I try to drill it in their head. Zillow, Redfin, Realtor, they give you estimates. That's what it is, an estimate. I'm going to look at the current data and give you a better estimate than they can. Right. It's going to be more accurate and unique to your house.
Sure. So give us a call. We're a full-service real estate agency. There's many things that we can do to assist you in purchasing and selling and rentals and commercial. As you can see, there's our contact information. Or go on YouTube and look at some of our past episodes.
Until next time.
Until next week, God bless.
Amen.